My nightmare started in December 2003.
You and a young man by the name of Justin that's been taken from his parents, from his mother, and put in a foster home. And he's going to share with the viewers of this tape what he's gone through as a young man. Justin, how old are you?
11.
11. And you were taken from your mother at what age?
9.
9 years old?
Well, those 2 marks on my thumbs right there are cigarette burns from foster care. That similar day, I got jumped from the kids in the foster home where I was.
Was there anything you'd done in that picture that caused to get beat up?
No. I was supposed to break in somebody's house.
And you didn't break into their house?
No.
And so you got beat up because of that?
Yes, sir. When I woke up that morning, I went to put my shoes on, and I thought they were somebody else's, but they looked like sandals, but they weren't.
So this is the way they had you dressing, is that correct?
Yes. Those things, the things on my knees are not mosquito bites, but they're pencil markings, stabbings.
Stabbings. So you're saying you were stabbed with pencils?
Yes.
And who did the stabbing?
They were 14 years old.
The kids, you mean the other kids that were in the foster care that were older than you?
Yeah.
So in other words, since you were younger, they were picking on you. They were beating you up since you were the youngest one.
The marks?
Yeah.
Well, the mark that looks like a scab is another pencil stabbing. And I got burnt on the forearm with a lighter.
And who burnt you with the lighter?
Another kid in the foster. They like I said last time, they had handcuffs and they handcuffed me up to the bedroom.
Did you tell any of the case managers that this was happening?
I did, but they didn't do nothing.
And the reason you had your shirt up is to show how skinny you are, is that correct?
Yes.
To show your ribs. Let me see if I can get this up here a little bit. Okay, this is a picture of the young man, and all he's got is ribs. And did they? Let me ask you. Could you tell me something about the Greens? Now, the reason they were taking in foster children is because they're getting money.
Yes. Well, the foster mom that was supposed to be watching us was always popping pills and smoking dope, and so she would always be messed up and falling asleep and stuff, while the other kids would be picking on me. And after caseworker after caseworker, this really nice caseworker came in. Her name is Arlene, and she decided that it needs to stop right there and then. So she went to, and instead of putting me in another foster home, she said, why don't we just work this out a little bit faster? So she said, instead of taking him to another foster home, let's keep him in this one for another week and put him in front of a judge, and then if after that he goes home with his mom. And that happened.
Probably, I'd say a couple weeks after my husband passed away. Safe Children Coalition came over, and at this time we were staying in a motel because we were waiting to move into our home. It was being renovated. They told us that it was not sufficient living. My friend at this time, who was going to rent us a home, offered us to go stay at her place. She has a 5-bedroom. And so they already had a place already set up for me and my children. They had their own rooms, and I'd have my room. And Safe Children Coalition refused to let me and my children go live there. They said that we had to go stay at a shelter. So we got taken from where we were at until we couldn't stay at our friend's home. Then we had to go live in a shelter. We went to stay in a homeless shelter. We was there over Christmas. The day after Christmas, they told me and my children we had to leave because I had 7 children in that, and they said that was me and my children were taking up too much space, that they had other people that needed to come in that only had 1 or 2 children that needed the space that I need to find elsewhere to stay. I called Safe Children Coalition and told them this, and they told me if I left the place that all my children would be removed from me at that time. I called my friend and I told her what was going on. She and her husband drove over and picked me and my 7 children up, and we went to stay over there. The Safe Children Coalition at this time was upset because I honestly feel after it's all said and done, they was waiting for me to become homeless to where they had a reason to take my children. We got moved into our 5-bedroom. Safe Children Coalition, every time I turned around, was coming to my home. The neighbors calling, complaining. It was all accusations, nothing was ever proven. I have no charges that have ever been brought against me. But they showed up one day. I got a call saying that you got to get home. There's a van and the police department and Safe Children Coalition at your house. Teresa, they're going to take your kids. So because of some accusations, because of a neighbor getting frustrated, because of all the kids in and out and the noise, they were calling and complaining. Safe Children Coalition came in and said they feel that at the time, because I was between jobs, that they felt if they removed the 4 little ones, leaving me with only my 3 older ones, they felt that would give me time to get on my feet. Here it is 3 years later, and I still have yet to get my 3 of them back. Every time I get one case plan completed, they add a couple more things to it. I don't see how it's not been, nobody's come forward before now, because I thought I was the only one living the nightmare. They took my children out of my home where they were well taken care of, never been abused, never been neglected, no kind of police record. Now here my 11-year-old boy got a police record where he was forced to go to homes and break into homes and stuff and beat up. And these people had a foster care license, and the cops knew and have been investigating these people for 2 years for drug trafficking. And this is where they put my son, and they're telling me that they can take better care of my children than I can.